Welcome, Sens Talk.
Here comes Smith with a pass across. Oh, he scores! He bats it in! Tim Stutzler wins it for Ottawa. Mitchell Grant is going to put the finishing touches on an Ottawa win. Oh! See you later. Go Sens, go.
Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon Plant, and I am your host. Tonight, your Ottawa Senators took on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Battle of Ontario. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first game between the two since the Ridley Gregg incident. If you don't remember what happened, take a look at your screen right now. I'm sure that's going to be a nice little refresher for you. Ridley Gregg with a very normal, very casual, very, typical empty net goal, and the Leafs lost their mind over it. So it is the first game since the Ridley Gregg incident, and this is probably going to be the first in a long time I'm going to talk about it in this video, because you didn't really see any retribution in this game around that incident, particularly with Morgan Rielly. There was nothing. So I think, when I spoke to Sens players, for example, in the offseason for my interviews on this channel, they all said the same thing. They had a good laugh about it, but I think, this is what they said. They thought it was a bigger deal for us in the media and us as fans, less so for them in the organization. And that clearly showed on the ice today, because for both sides, it was a bit of a chippy affair, don't get me wrong, but that is to be expected between these two teams, but nothing more than you usually get between these two teams. You definitely didn't see, again, any retribution for that. So, very notable, but, people, they are talking about Ridley Gregg. Oh, it's his return to Toronto. It's his first game since that incident. I'm talking about the Gregg-out return to Toronto. This is what we should be talking about. Noah Gregor's first game against Toronto. I don't even think they gave him a tribute, which you can have your debates down below if he played enough. He played like 70 games last year. I thought maybe they give him at least like a little recognition on the screen. Maybe they did. I didn't see it on Twitter. But anyways, that's my storyline going into this game. It's the Gregg-out return. But anyways, yeah. So we didn't see anything. Let's just say there was an empty net in the final few minutes of this game. And unfortunately, Ridley Gregg did not replicate that. But anyways, let's get into the game report and everything in between. So Ottawa going to this game, coming off a huge win on the road. They are 7-7-0 now, back to 500. Looking to get back over 500 and continue a good stretch of play as of late. In their last 4 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs, Ottawa has won 3 out of those 4 games. So recent history suggests Ottawa should be in a good spot going to this game. However, it's on the road, but again, look, Toronto's not exactly, people say this is the kingdom of hockey, if you want to call it that. This is the peak of hockey. This is where hockey lives and breathes. You couldn't tell that if you watched the game and you didn't know the history of hockey in Toronto. That arena, notoriously quiet. So, sure, it's a road game, but is it really? It kind of feels more like a game of hockey on the pond, because that arena is so quiet. It's so corporate. And it's basically not even a road game, to be honest with you. Ottawa, though, is 2-5-0 on the road this year. It's been a massive concern for them over the last few years. We've spoken about that in depth quite a bit on this channel. Last year, 3 points out of like a possible 34, just to briefly mention it. So, obviously, the road has been an issue for Ottawa. They're looking to build off a big road win last game, to get another one tonight, and to get 3 wins on the road this year. So, with that, a couple more things before the game. Firstly, congratulations to Kenzie Lalonde of TSN, the first female to call a National Hockey League game for TSN. She did a fantastic job today. Not a shocker for me. And probably for many of you as well. I've heard her many times covering other games, especially with Cheryl Pounder. Too bad she was on the call with her today as well. But she did a fantastic job, and hopefully we see her cover more Sens games. She's also a Stittsville native, so from Ottawa, was a Sens fan growing up. Just a great story. So congratulations to her. You just love to see that. Now, going back to the game, Linus Ullmark would start for Ottawa. It is the first time he starts back-to-back games for the Senators, and for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's Stolar starting for them, who's actually been pretty solid. One of the better goalies this year so far, with a top 3 save percentage. So he's been doing pretty well. A couple final notes. Shane Pinto returns to the lineup. Thank goodness. On his birthday, shout out to you, Shane Pinto. Birthday number 24 for him. Look, if his birthday was delayed by 1 day, yours truly and Pinto would have shared birthday. So that's kind of crappy, to be honest with you. That would have been the ultimate Sens day. But, great to see Shane Pinto come back. Osipchuk in a corresponding move would be loaned back to Belleville, while Jacob Bernard-Docker scratched again for Travis Hamonic. I don't get it. I know he won the last game, and you don't really change your lineup, other than bringing in a guy like Pinto, of course, after you win, but I don't care. JBD is a young player. He's more than earned his opportunity to get regular minutes in the National Hockey League. His advanced analytics show it. Everything shows it. So, again, I don't understand it. And hopefully he draws into the lineup soon. Now, again, as I just kind of briefly mentioned, tomorrow is my birthday. Shane Pinto's birthday is today. So Sens, going into this game, we need to get Shane Pinto a birthday win. Need to send me into the day tomorrow with a win as well. So we need to win. Frankly, I don't say this ever in November. This is a must win. The night before my birthday, Shane Pinto's birthday today as well, against the Leafs, you got to beat them. You got to beat them. You are Ontario's team. You are Canada's team. It's time to prove it tonight. So to the first period we go, and 50 seconds in, we are proving just that. Artem Zub breaks up a play in the offensive zone. Sens go back the other way. Norris bumps it to Giroux. Giroux back to Norris. Norris top shelf. Josh Scoris. Back-to-back games with a goal for the Noof. And Ottawa strikes 1-0 early on. A great goal here for Josh Norris again. Beautiful shot top shelf. Zub's first point as well of the year in 6 games. Back-to-back games with a goal for Josh Norris as well. As I already mentioned, what a start there for Ottawa. Not even a minute in, the quiet barn even got quieter. 1-0 Senators. Now after that, Ottawa would continue the press and frankly would continue to dominate. The Toronto Maple Leafs were getting outshot by more than double just 10 minutes into the game. And by that I mean the shots were like 12-2, okay? It wasn't even close. Toronto couldn't even get a clean zone exit. They were flailing. They couldn't get the puck out. They were either icing the puck, turning it over, or just trying to throw it out through the middle and wouldn't take it and go back the other way, which very much happened quite often. So Ottawa in that first period utterly dominated them. They outshot them only 17-9. So 17 shots, that's a lot of shots. But 9 shots makes it seem a little closer than it really was. No. The Ottawa Senators absolutely controlled that first period of play. Late in the period, Nick Jensen left late after getting Robertson's stick kind of wrapped around his neck. Thankfully, it wasn't anything too serious. He would return. Kind of shocked that wasn't called as a penalty. We'll talk about that later in the game notes because wasn't the first call tonight that the refs missed. I'll just leave it at that. So, anyways, Ottawa dominated that first period of play. Probably could have scored a couple more. Drake Batherson had a great drive to the net and hit the crossbar. So Ottawa definitely could have got a couple more in that first period. But at least they got that opening one to get things going and to get rewarded for great play. 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. So we go into the second period of play. And Ottawa, they're not taking their foot off the pedal. They are building off a massive win the other day on the road. They get another one here. As just a few minutes into the second period of play, as Ottawa again continues to push early on in this period, they continue their fantastic play from the first period into the second period. And just a few minutes in, my goodness, Tom Chabot doing Tom Chabot things. I mean, this is the most Tom Chabot keeping of all time. This guy is a puck merchant on the blue line. You can't get that puck past him along the blue line. He always finds a way to keep it in. He does so here, gives it to Batherson along the boards, and yes, it's Timmy Stu, or Timmy Shiner I should call him, Mr. Shiner with the black eye. 2-0 Senators. Timmy Stu in game number 300 of his NHL career makes it 2-0 Senators with his 7th goal of the year. What a nice pass from Drake Batherson to find Timmy Stu streaking through the middle. Great play from Stützle to see that open ice and to take advantage. But it all starts with Tom Chabot along the blue line, locking that blue line, taking that puck and sending it right back to Batherson to continue on with the offensive zone possession. So Tom Chabot gets a lot of flack. I never understand it. I really never understand it. Especially when it comes to plays like this, because Tom Chabot, he does this on a nightly basis. Not always does it end up, going for a goal for Ottawa. It does so here, and it just shows the great value that he has. And that pairing with Jensen, unbelievably good. And myself and many other fans and bloggers, podcasters, whatever you want to call it, have been saying this for so long. You play the guy for 30 plus minutes, you treat him like a mule, like a donkey for 5+ years. He's like that guy. It's not shocking that he's going to be fatigued and he's going to make some mistakes and mentally drained. And, now he's with a defensive guy. His numbers have been dialed back a little bit, and it's not shocking that he's playing his best hockey in years. Not a shock at all. Thomas Chabot, what a fantastic player he is. And then just seconds later, it's Michael Amadio, 3-0 Senators. He steals the puck along the boards, goes back the other way on the 2-1, and beats Dollar's glove side. 3-0 Senators. 25 minutes into this game, it's all Ottawa. They're up by 3. They're out shooting the Leafs by an insane amount. They have complete and utter control of this game. In fact, for 9+ minutes of that second period, just like in the first, the Leafs were held without a shot until, Max Domi had a great look out front. But of course, Linus Ullmark, Ollie, boy am I excited, with a huge pad stop right out front on the doorstep. So after 40 minutes of play, Ottawa leads 3-0. Another fantastic period for Ottawa. The second period has been a period where Ottawa has struggled at times this year. Not this night whatsoever. Another period they dominated, and they get rewarded with a couple more goals. As they go into the third period, look, Ottawa, after 40 minutes of play when they have the lead, is 5-1-0 this year. Things are looking good. Things are looking very, very, very good. As we go into the third period of play, Ottawa at this point, they're kind of sitting back and playing defensively. Toronto definitely played much better in this third period, as you would expect from a team down by 3. But they also got a couple power play opportunities, which would certainly help any team trying to push for some offense. But Ottawa by no means was a disaster defensively. They were just kind of, they weren't pushing as much as the first 2 periods. The shots after 2 periods were like almost 40 shots for Ottawa. They would end up with just over 40, so they only got like 5 or so shots in this third period. So again, not a terrible period by any means, but they were playing more conservative, safer, just trying to hold that lead, and it worked. Because your Ottawa Senators win 3-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Beat the Traffic Leaf fans. Beat the Traffic Toronto. Adios. See you later. Au revoir. Good night. As Ottawa takes down the Leafs to improve to 4-1-0 in their last 5 games against Toronto. As Linus Ullmark, Ali, boy am I excited. Boy is he excited. With the shutout. His first career shutout with the Ottawa Senators. And his 9th in his National Hockey League career. 26 saves tonight. Some massive stops tonight. I mean, in that first period of play, just under 7 minutes or so to go in the first period, Ullmark, in the span of like 5 seconds, made 3 highlight reel stops. And he did so in such a calm, reassuring, and smooth way, which shows why he's so elite. The best in the National Hockey League when it comes to goalies make the tough saves look easy and routine, and that's exactly what Linus Ullmark did all night tonight. And that's what he's done for quite a bit of his National Hockey League career. What a fantastic goalie this is. I can't believe he's an Ottawa Senator still, and at least for the next 5 years at that. I mean, what a blessing that is for us, ladies and gentlemen. But again, just to have that confidence back in the net, just to see this guy, he's so positionally sound, so square to the puck. He's never off his angle on that glove hand, by the way. After the previous goalies, Murray and Korpisalo and whatnot, that glove hand is solid as well, which is a blessing. So what a night there for Linus Ullmark. Did his job as best as he could. A shutout, well deserved for him. And Ottawa, where are all these shutouts coming from? 2 for Forsberg this year, 1 for Ullmark. That's 3 in just 15 games. Unbelievable. Everyone said the goaltending would be the X factor for Ottawa this year. So far, so good. Now, the penalty kill was also very good for Ottawa tonight, 4 for 4. Obviously, Toronto didn't score on the power play. Ullmark got the shutout. But I mentioned this because, look, obviously, Ottawa's power play has been one of the best in the National Hockey League. Literally going to this game ranked 4th, but their penalty kill was ranked 20th. Not great. Basically middle of the pack. 4 for 4. Hopefully they can build off that and can turn that side of the special teams around. Because if you can have like a top 15 penalty kill with a top 5 power play, you're going to go places for sure. Now, Ottawa, they've won back-to-back on the road. I can't tell you when the last time they've done that. It's been years, as they now improved to 3-5-0 on the road this year. Already much better than last year in terms of road record, which is a great sign. But most importantly, another win on the road in November. These are so rare for Ottawa. Let's enjoy it, especially against a divisional rival, provincial rival as well. But more importantly, Ottawa's now in a playoff spot with this win. So a massive win in that regard. 41 shots as well for Ottawa tonight, so they were putting the puck on net. But as I already kind of mentioned, in that third period, they kind of dialed it back, kind of restrained themselves and played more of a conservative style. They were on pace at a point in this game for 60-plus shots, all right? So by far, we're the better team tonight. as they also, again, they're above 500. They improved to 8-7-0 on the year. Now, some notable stats, some wacky stats. I mean, Nick Jensen tonight, hopefully he's got an ice pack. 7 hits he took today. That is kind of crazy. Speaking of hits, the captain, Brady Tkachuk, delivered 7 hits of his own, while Drake Batherson put on 6 shots. Again, he hit the crossbar as well. Could have scored a goal that doesn't count for a shot. So he had a very, very good game. And, of course, drew an assist there on Susula's goal as well. Now, one last thing I want to mention is the refs. They were ridiculous tonight. I mean, ridiculous. And I always say this, no matter whether the refs are good or bad, the Sens have to find a way to win. I'm never going to blame the refs for a loss, especially if we win. I'm not going to blame them for anything. But, and I always say this on Twitter, I'm going to say it here now as well. The NBA, I don't like the NBA for a lot of reasons. But, look, the NBA does one thing really, really well. The officials, after the games, have to speak to the media. They have to answer to their calls. And I think this is just a great way to hold officials accountable, especially after a game like this where in the first period, Nick Cousins took a penalty for the Leafs guy literally tripping over himself. That was ridiculous. Brady Tkachuk, in the second period, got an interference penalty because Duar literally held on to him. At the most, that's offsetting for both, but somehow Tkachuk gets drilled with an interference. And then the most egregious, if those weren't egregious enough, was Shane Pinto, this poor guy on his birthday, knocked down onto the ice. Oliver Ekman-Larsson beating him, cross-checking him multiple times while he's down on the ice, defenseless. And Shane Pinto goes to the box for an offsetting minor? What? That makes no sense. So, again, I'm not going to spend another few minutes on this. We won the game, but I think it's very important to hold these, officials accountable for such nonsense calls. I mean, either of these calls are just egregiously terrible. Maybe this is game management. No matter what it is, there's no good answer and there's no good reality out of it. These calls can't be made, and they easily could have swayed the game in the direction of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So luckily, Ottawa did their job and killed these penalties off. But I mean, again, what's going on this year? The refs this year have been notoriously bad. And tonight, I had to write down those 3 particular examples because what the hell are we doing here? I mean, that is insanity. Insanity. But, yeah, we'll leave it off with that because I want to ride the good vibes. What a night here, ladies and gentlemen, for your Ottawa Senators as the good vibes continue. We're back over 500. We're back in a playoff spot, and we've won 3 games on the road this year, ladies and gentlemen. This team feels different. They look different. And hopefully that continues. So with that, I will see you all on Thursday against the Philadelphia Flyers as Ottawa takes on the Flyers. Back at home, I'll be at that game. Shout out my dad. Got me tickets for my birthday, so I'll be there. I'll have a post-game recap for that one from the arena post-game, so stay tuned for that. But besides that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go!